Hello friends, my name is Minerva Sweeney Wren, and this is a book. It is called The Mysterious Ripley House, and I wrote it this morning sitting in my closet because I, like you, am stuck in quarantine. I have nowhere to go and nothing to do, and I thought it would be incredibly exciting if we all sat down together every morning, Monday through Friday. So I won't post on Saturdays and Sundays, but I will post every morning, Monday through Friday. It'll be a little 5 to 10 minute video, and you guys will listen to the latest installment of The Mysterious Ripley House. But where this gets interesting is that you guys will help me write the story. I'm going to include a way to vote at the end of every episode, and I'll leave you a choice. And I'll also leave you games and puzzles and things that you have to solve to make sure that the story ends up all right. And I will actually write every morning. I will write the installment of the next adventure and the next episode based on what you guys pick. So majority vote will win, of course, so bring your friends in and try to convince them to vote the way you want to vote. But we are going to write this story together. We are stuck at home and we are saving lives by staying home, but it's a tough time. It's stir crazy. So I thought that it would be fun if we got completely transported by this adventure and we went somewhere together. So I'm with you on this, and I'm with you in this. So this is the very beginning of the Mysterious Ripley House, and tomorrow these pages will contain the next installment based on what you vote tonight before midnight. Vote as soon as possible, but tonight before midnight, if you get your vote in, it will be considered and the majority vote will win, and we'll create this adventure together. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the Mysterious Ripley House, episode 1. Once, 4 children woke up in a house, and they didn't know how they had gotten there. None of them lived in the house. None of them had ever seen this house before. In fact, Tim was fairly sure it was a museum because he woke up underneath a life-size statue of a woolly mammoth, and woolly mammoths don't exist in ordinary houses. It was a house, however. It wasn't a museum. It was just an extraordinary house. It was at least 6 stories, and it went on forever. It was full of murky mirrors, strange passageways, and tall, exotic plants. The air smelled like cinnamon and thunderstorms, and anywhere you walked, your footsteps echoed deliciously. As I was saying, the 4 children woke up in this house one morning, and they didn't know how they had gotten there. They had gone to sleep in their own beds, at home, living their ordinary, regular, somewhat boring lives. When they awoke, they were in a mansion the size of the British Museum, and they didn't know what to do next. The children's names were Tim, Audrey, Bianca, and Raphael. Bianca was 7. Raphael was 8. Tim was 9, and Audrey was 10. We'll learn more about the children soon, but today we're going to learn about the house and the beginning of their adventures. As previously stated, Tim woke up under a woolly mammoth. Raphael woke up floating on a giant lily pad in an indoor pond, and he yelled and immediately splashed into the water. He gurgled and sat up. The pond was only 2 feet deep. Raphael had seaweed in his mouth, and he grinned and spat it out. He stood up, dripping, and looked around. He didn't know where he was, but this was certainly more interesting than his regular life. Last night he'd had homework, for crying out loud. Today, he was in a spooky old house. Bianca woke up inside the cupboard with a colander on her head. Her first thought was that she had sleepwalked into the kitchen and let herself into the cupboard, so she wasn't very frightened. But then she opened the cupboard door and stepped out, and she saw that she wasn't in her kitchen at home. Oh dear no, she was in a huge kitchen. It smelled like sage and onions. Herbs hung from the ceiling. A large copper pot-bellied stove sat in the corner. Bianca didn't know whether to be scared or excited, because it looked like she had gotten into a fairy tale house. Audrey woke up in the main hallway. She was asleep on her back, and when she opened her eyes, a huge chandelier hung above her, made of sapphires and diamonds, all twinkling in the early morning light. Audrey sat up and took a deep breath. The house smelled like dust and magic, and like something waiting to happen. Within the first 10 minutes, the children all found each other, because they wandered through the house yelling, "Hello, is anybody there?" The children had never met before, but they were friendly people, so even though they all came from different backgrounds, looked different, and weren't the same ages, they shook hands and decided to become a team. Adventures require friends, after all, and making friends requires being open-minded. It took only another 10 minutes of investigating, however, to discover that they were alone in the house. No adults, no servants, just them. "This must be the start of a fascinating adventure," Tim observed. At that moment, even though the 4 children knew they were alone, a door began to creak open all by itself. Bianca got goosebumps. Raphael gulped. Tim felt the hair on the back of his neck stand up, and Audrey's stomach thumped with fright. What was coming through the door? What was happening? So, friends, that is the end of episode 1, and today you are going to vote. Should the children run away as fast as they can and escape through the front door of the house, or should they stay in the mysterious mansion and investigate what's coming through the doors? There's a survey at the bottom of this video. Your parents will help you if you're too young and you don't know how. Most of you guys should be old enough to do that on your own, though. Just go in, cast your vote before midnight tonight. Remember, the sooner the better. And tomorrow, whatever you decide is going to happen in the episode. Again, majority rules, but I think most of you will be on the same page and you'll choose what happens next together. Remember that tomorrow morning there will not be an episode unless you do 3 things. This is going to be true of every episode. You have 3 missions at the end. First mission is to vote. The second mission is to tell a friend who has never heard about this adventure before and bring them in. The more people we have on this adventure, the longer it's going to last. So tell a friend. Remember, there will not be an episode tomorrow morning unless you bring a new friend in today. Third and last is your mission for the day, which is to go online and find an animal that you have never heard of before and tell someone about it. My personal favorite animal that no one has heard of before is a nudibranch. I think they're extremely interesting, and I encourage you to look them up. All right, friends, stay sane, stay clever, and I will see you tomorrow.